Hi everybody, this is Bart Jaworski, CEO of Group 11 Resources. We have made one of the largest, if not the largest, zinc discovery in Ireland in the last decade. It's zinc-lead, very high-grade silver, some copper towards the northeast, and getting a little bit of antimony, but we're not really talking about that too much. We have Glencore and Michael Gentile as our top two shareholders, and we are, of course, in Ireland. So with that, I think we'll open up the discussion.
We're in Ireland. We're also in London today.
That's right.
Part of the roadshow. So Michael Gentile is taking some of his kind of better portfolio investments on a tour of Europe here in London today. That room is packed upstairs, packed full of investors. What do you think?
Yeah, we were very happily, very not surprised, but we knew we were going to have a full room today. But I think it was exceeded. Yeah, I was expecting 90. Yeah. So we got 150. Okay, yeah. I didn't even know that was that much, but yeah, it was a packed room, so it was fantastic to see.
Yeah, and I think that it's interesting because normally I come to London, I sort of dread these lunchtime shows because there's usually about 20, 30 people of a certain age there for the free lunch and wine and not really listening. Yeah. That was different. All ages, all kind of levels of investor in there, and I think that they are keen. They want gold. They want silver. They want metals with real value. So, high grade zinc, is that top of the list?
Well, and copper, because we started to hit copper on the northeastern edge of our discovery. We have a 2.6 kilometer strike so far in terms of pierced high grade robust zones of mineralization that we've drilled so far. And on the very northeast of that, we started getting more and more copper silver. Yeah. Which really culminated in a hit that we got 6 meters of nearly 1,000 grams per ton silver and nearly 4% copper, which really opened up people's
4%
eyes. 4% copper over 6 meters, yeah. So that really opened up a lot of investors' eyes to the idea that Group 11 is not just a zinc story, it's a copper story as well. We've always been silver. We're getting consistently high grades of silver along with our zinc and lead, but now we're getting copper and silver. And it's the copper that really turned the tide for us because obviously everybody is looking for copper. The market audience for copper is huge compared to that of zinc. And obviously all the majors are looking for copper as well. They still like their zinc in the back pocket, but they're really going after copper projects. So it's nice to have that in the mix. But yeah, we're getting some really, great is king. And we're getting some very, very nice copper hits as well. And we just basically proved that there's a copper silver horizon, actually several of them, underneath our zinc discovery. That's right. So that was the new addition. We only put that out about 2 weeks ago now, that we proved that there is copper down there for the very first time.
Bit of a game changer, but we need to sort of tip our hat towards 10% zinc, right? In terms of if you're going to find 100%. Zinc, you want high margin zinc.
Yeah, I think the world average for mined zinc and lead is 6% zinc and lead. So I mean that's halved over the last 20 years. Just on the account, grades are getting lower and lower. That's across the board with most mines around the world. Right. So no different here in zinc, and it's about 6%. So having 10%, Ireland is known for its high-grade zinc deposits and clean zinc deposits. They tend to just be sphalerite clean and a little bit of pyrite. So they're beautiful concentrates, which the majors are very fond of. That's why they do a lot of exploration in Ireland to get those clean cons. So yeah, but back to your point, 10% zinc and lead and higher, because obviously we're getting all the way up to 50s and 60s% in certain intercepts, which is nice as well. But for most of it, the typical hit for us is 10 meters of 10% with about 100 grams silver.
So what do you do with that? Because I think zinc projects globally for the last 5, 6, 7 years, really, no one's interested, right? Lower grade, obviously much lower grade. I'm thinking of the Aussie type stuff. Where people are going, well, it was once great, now not so much, and we've moved on to other things now. With this higher grade, with therefore presumably higher margin, your job is what? To kind of show up scale? Is it to show a route to production? What's the picture you're trying to paint here?
The broader picture, to expand what we have, to figure out what we have 2.6 kilometers, as I mentioned, but that's along a 6 kilometer long trend defined by 4 gravity high anomalies, of which one of those 4 is where the discovery is at so far. We've only drilled 1 gravity anomaly, so we have 3 more to go. We're only 25% of the way through. So job number 1, spread our wings along the 6K. Job number 2, drill underneath to test for that copper. And really job 3 after that is getting on, maybe that's 2-3 years down the line, but at that stage we have to crystallize a resource, we have to do some met work, and then start doing some baseline environmental.
Right.
If it's all systems go, then that's basically the road we proceed on, and then see what we have. Do we have a standalone situation? Do we have a satellite situation at Ballywire? We have a lot of critical mass already in the camp. As Michael was saying, we have between Palace Green and Stone Park, that's 50 million tons of mineralization. Basically only 20 kilometers away from us. 20 kilometers meaning within the radius of what it could be developable as one.
But that's the kind of, we're talking about the Glencore component in the mix here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're saying, well, potentially there's something that could be pieced together there, and you've got the opportunity of looking at this copper, silver, antimony component as well. So how do you allocate capital? You've got some money. Mm-hmm. So what's the best use and deployment of that capital?
Yeah, we've got 8.4 million thanks to a Cormark-led bought deal this summer. July 31st, we closed on $5.75 million along with Beacon. So we got $8.4 million. That really gives us over 25,000 meters of drilling for the next 18 months. So how are we going to allocate that? Yeah. It's a two-pronged approach, I think. We do really want to see what the other gravity anomalies are, because they haven't been tested. Are they? There could be 30 meters of massive sulfide there for all we know. We need to make sure we know what we're dealing with, or it's a different type of geology over there. What have you? A number of things could be giving us those responses, those gravity high anomalies. So we need to test those out, and then in parallel, almost equal weighting, but again, time will tell, and this will evolve over time. If we start hitting very high grade copper silver down below, then maybe that'll tip the balance more towards going after the copper. And obviously, going after the copper, if it's there, would be a smart thing to do, because again, the market wants that more so than more zinc.
Especially high grade,
yeah, especially if it's high grade. So it's a little bit of a combination. We're at the very early innings of this, because again, we've just announced our first hole. We proved that concept in terms of, yes, the mineralization is there within the lithology that we thought was going to be there. And now it's just a matter of up and down dip, and drill up and down dip, and then along the 2.4K or so, plus whatever else Mother Nature gives us.
What else has been going on in Ireland? Because I was over in Germany recently, and they've got this kind of Kupferfeld, where there is
the Kupferschiefer.
The Kupferschiefer,
the copper zone. Yeah, that's an amazing.
8 meters, and it just kind of runs up
forever.
Through. Yeah, and it's amazing, and they've been at it for a few hundred years, chasing that. But do you have any sense of, does that kind of roll out into Ireland, or is anyone else been mining in Ireland that's found copper to give you some
to have that kind? Well, it's an interesting point you made, because they're both basins, and they're both basin types of ore deposits. And so, for example, Murray Hitzman at ICRAG, so we have this consortium of universities within Ireland, about 7 of them, plus international universities. It's funded by Ireland, but also the Science Foundation Ireland, but also EU money, very well funded program. And their focus is basins. So you hit upon actually a key point, because it has parallels to Zambia, the copper belt in Zambia, to the Kupferschiefer, and to the basin architecture that we see in Ireland. They're very much applicable. Those analogies are very much applicable. So you hit upon that. So maybe, we haven't, ICRAG, I think, have about 30 postdocs working on questions like that.
Right.
Can we say that Ireland is like a Kupferschiefer? I think the lithologies are quite different.
Right.
Shale versus more limestone in Ireland.
Right.
We have more, but this is lower limestone shale is actually where we're finding this. So it is a shale. Okay, lower limestone shale is the unit that we're going after underneath Ballywire. So are there parallels there? It's probably too early to say, but we do have examples more locally around Ballywire. We're in kind of a mini copper belt, I like to say. That's not an official term, but Ireland does have 4 copper silver prospects in and around Ballywire. Two of them have been mined, one in the 1750s, one in the 1650s, or 1960s rather, and then 2 other prospects, but they're in and around it. We're smack dab in the middle of it. And that copper is hosted within that lower limestone shale unit, and that's exactly what we have underneath Ballywire. So it bodes well. It bodes well. We seem to be in a copper-rich part of Ireland. So.
And you seem to be getting this. There's governmental support in the shape, but what's that converted into in money? Is that grants?
No, it's equity investment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, equity investment alongside everyone else. It's a sovereign wealth fund within Ireland called ISIF, Irish Strategic Investment Fund. They've hived off. It's a very big fund. but they've hived off 30 million euros and put that into the very cleverly named IMF, which is the Irish Mining Fund. And that is now deployed money into Shannon, which is starting up the Galmoy mine, which is an old Lundin asset. So that mine was nearly mined out, but there's a number of million tons there remaining for a 7-year mine life. Yeah. And so they just got their permits, they got their cashed up, and basically they're dewatering right now. We were at a talk in Mullingar outside of Dublin only about 2 weeks ago, and they basically said, yeah, we're all ready to go, we're dewatering, we should be producing in the early part of next year. So that's a nice story that you can point to and say, okay, there's new mining investment by the Irish government into tangible, mine startups, restarts in this case. But I think that is only going to grow, and they're going to invite investors into the IMF. So you don't have to invest in the assets of Ireland, but you have the opportunity, and they will welcome it to invest into the broader IMF, and the IMF's mandate will be to invest it within Ireland. So
that's interesting. So that's an ETF of sorts. Would you argue?
Yeah, in a way. Yeah, in a way. Yeah. So you invest in that, and then they do the sort of more granular investment. So you kind of invest into a theme, and then the IMF invests into the asset levels, and that's administered through Lionhead out of South Africa, which is a mining-centric fund.
Yeah. I know the guys.
Yeah, a lot of specialists there.
So, okay, right, this roadshow, you're obviously meeting lots of investors. If it's anything like London, you're going to have a fantastic week. They should invest in you. Why?
More discovery hopefully to come. So obviously forward-looking statement there. But again, I think the drill bit discovery is really what moves. That's how you make a lot of money in the mining industry, is through exploration success. Mm-hmm. So that's number one for us, is to have. We've had, it took us 7 years, but we have made a discovery, and we've had a lot of exploration success over the last 3 years, and we've gone from 10 million market cap to thereabouts of 100. Yeah. And so the idea is that if we can create more of that exploration success, again, like I was saying about that 2.6 kilometers. Yeah. We have a lot of fertile ground along 6 kilometers. We've only really explored 2.6 of it. Right. Then obviously that's going to create a lot of value if we can deliver with a drill bit. So our job really is to go out there. We've got 3 rigs running, going to 4. All year round drilling. We've got very low drill costs in Ireland, 150 Canadian dollars per meter, which is very cheap.
In Ireland?
Yeah, no helicopters, no road building, and the drillers get to go home each day. We don't have a camp or anything like that. We can drill year round, so all those things really start to matter. We're not hanging off the side of a cliff to drill, so it all helps. So and there's about 4 or 5 different, maybe 3 or 4 different drill outfits in Ireland. So it's a good place to work in that regard. So all that put together means a lot of bang for the buck with the money that we've raised.
And so in terms of the drill program, just gives a sense of the next 12 months with that drill program. And
so it's actually, north of 25,000 meters of drilling over the next 18 months. So that this will carry us through all this year, all next year, and I think well into 2027.
Well done.
And so that's a lot of news generated, and then we can ride the waves of the market around that time in terms of when we next come to market. But we have a long runway before we really have to think about that. So again, we're not really actively looking for any capital right now. We're just basically out there and telling the story and just growing the market audience.
Fantastic. Funded for a lot of drilling. Optionality of chasing copper and silver as well.
Yeah, in a country that is obviously very welcoming and actively investing in the mining sector right now.
Right, but I'm going to let you get back up to that room. A lot of conversations to be had, and then jumping on a train and heading to Paris. That's the next stop, right?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, should be an exciting week.
Tough week.
We'll be tired by Friday.
You will be. I'll see you soon. Cheers.
Excellent. Thanks so much.